Hello, Eagles. Today our video is going to be about multiplying and dividing integers. For your notes, you're going to need something to write with and some paper. And whenever you see this pencil sign on a page, that means you're going to need to write down what is on that page in your notes. We are going to start by watching a video that talks about multiplying integers.
In this video, we're going to go over how you multiply and divide integers. We're not going to get a lot into why it's true because it would be really hard to do in this whiteboard in 10 minutes, but we will go over the rules for how to do it. So let's start with multiplying integers. If you're multiplying two integers, if they both have the same sign, your answer is going to be positive. So if they're both negative or if they're both positive, your answer is going to be positive. If they have different signs, one is negative, one is positive, then your answer is going to be negative. And if you multiply anything times zero, the answer will just be zero. So let's take a look at some examples. We've got 8 times 6. They're both positive. They have the same sign. And so it's going to be a positive 48. The next example, they still have the same sign. Negative 8 times negative 6. They're both negative. When they have the same sign, the answer is positive. I'm not really feeling that marker. Okay. So it'll again be a positive 48. Now, 8 times negative 6. They have different signs, so the answer is going to be negative. For this one, negative 8 times 6, they have different signs again, so the answer will be negative. And the last one, negative 8 times 0, anything times 0 is
0. Okay, let's go into our notes. So you have a pencil on this page. That means you need to write down what is on this page. So this says multiplying integers. These are your rules, and these are some examples. So first one, if you have the same sign, so a negative times a negative or a positive times a positive, your answer is going to be positive. I wanted to give you some different numbers for your examples. So positive 4 or 4 times 5 or positive 5 equals 20, a positive number because you have a positive and a positive. Next, we have negative 4 times negative 5. That also equals 20. You have two negatives, so negative times a negative equals a positive. Next, we have different signs. The answer is going to be negative. So if you have a negative times a positive, it's going to be a negative. Or if you have it the other way around, a positive times a negative, it's still going to be negative. Here we have negative 4 times 5 equals negative 20. You have a negative and a positive equals a negative. Then we have 4 times negative 5. That also equals negative 20. Positive times negative equals negative. Last, we have any integer and 0. The answer is going to be 0. For your example, we have 4 times 0 equals 0. And negative 5 times 0 also equals 0. Go ahead and pause so you have time to write down everything on this slide. Okay, let's continue our video.
Okay, if we move on to dividing integers uses the exact same rules. So if our two numbers have the same sign, our answer is going to be positive. If our two numbers have different signs, our answer is going to be negative. And if we are dividing 0 by any integer, our answer will be 0. So 12 divided by 4, they're both positive. They have the same sign, so my answer is going to be positive. Here, both numbers are negative. They have the same sign, so my answer is going to be positive. divided by negative 2, they have different signs. So my answer is going to be negative. Negative 20 divided by 5, again, they have different signs. One's negative, one's positive, and so my answer is going to be negative. And my last one, 0 divided by 6, is going to be 0. 0 divided by negative 6 would be 0. 0 divided by 10 would be 0. 0 divided by anything is 0.
Okay, let's go back to our notes. Here we have another page with a pencil, so that means you're writing down what is on this screen. Our title is Dividing Integers. And over here we have the rules. Like she said in the video, they're going to be the same. So if you have same signs, your answer is positive. Your example is 20 divided by 5 equals 4. You have positive 20 divided by positive 5. That equals a positive number. Then we have negative 20 divided by negative 5. That also equals 4. Negative and a negative equal a positive. Next, we have different signs. The answer is going to be negative. So we have negative 20 divided by 5 equals negative 4. So that's a negative and a positive equal a negative. Then we have 20 divided by negative 5 equals negative 4. That's a positive and a negative equals a negative. And last, we have any integer in 0 is going to equal 0. So for your example, 4 divided by 0 equals 0, and negative 20 divided by 0 equals 0. Any number divided by 0 equals, you guessed it, 0. Okay, let's go back to our video and we're going to see some examples.
So let's do some examples. All right. Our first one, a negative times a positive. They have different numbers, and so my answer is going to be negative. I'm sorry, they have different signs, so my answer is going to be negative. And 12 times 5 is 60, so that's a negative 60. What about here? Negative 60 divided by negative 10. They have the same sign, and so when the two numbers have the same sign, it's going to be positive. 6 divided by 10, 60 divided by 10 is 6, and it's positive 6. Here, negative 4 squared. That's the same thing as negative 4 times negative 4. They have the same sign, so it's going to be positive, and 4 times 4 is 16. Anything squared, anytime a negative number is squared, the answer is always going to be positive because it'll always mean a negative times another negative. Negative 4 times negative 12. They're both negative. They have the same sign, so my answer is going to be positive, and 4 times 12 is 48. All right, what about when I have three numbers? I've got 6, negative 6, and negative 18. How I'm going to do this is I'm only going to look at two numbers at a time. So let's start on the top with the numerator. 6 times negative 6 is a negative 36. They have different signs, so it's going to be negative. So then, negative 36 divided by negative 18, they have the same sign, so it's going to be positive. 36 divided by 18 is 2. It's my body in the way. And then this one, three numbers again, so we're going to just do two at a time. Let's ignore this one. 8 times negative 3. Different signs, so it's going to be negative. 8 times 3 is 24. So we've got negative 24. So now, negative 24 times negative 2. Same sign, so my answer is positive. 24 times 2 is 48.
Okay, so let's go back into our PowerPoint, and I just want to show you two things. So on this slide, we're going to talk about other ways to write and multiply. In the examples in the video, I'm sure you saw a bunch of different ways that she wrote multiply on the screen, and I don't want you to be confused. So the first one is the one that you've probably seen a lot of. 3 times 3 equals 9. It looks like an X in the middle. with the multiplication sign. Another way is the parentheses. So you can have two numbers in parentheses next to each other. That still means 3 times 3 equals 9. Or you can have a number next to a number in parentheses, and that also means 3 times 3 equals 9. And then the last way is the dot. So the dot also acts as a multiplication sign. 3 times 3 equals 9. And then we have other ways to write divide. So we have 3 divided by 3 equals 1. That's the typical way that you've probably seen. And then we have 3, and it's like a dash, slash. 3 divided by 3 equals 1. And then we can have a fraction line. So we could have, if we did 2 times, oops, that's a times, 3 divided by 2. So 2 times 3 equals 6. And then you're going to divide 6 by 2. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So those are just some other ways that you can see how to write division and multiplication.